Who am I and how can I lead? These two questions control my life. I'm a specialist in conflict resolution, learner in the field. My name is Sukhsimranjit Singh, and I have two big identities, an Indian and American. You see, my friends, conflict is internal and conflict is external. I learn how to deal with people's conflict, how to bring them together in the heart of deep disputes, identity, commercial, and all other kinds of disputes. However, today I want to share a story about conflicts within myself, how I overcame them, and how that made me a better mediator. I grew up in this proud land of Punjab, wearing the distinct symbol that I'm wearing today. I went to law school at Nalsar in Hyderabad, one of the top law schools in the nation. My journey at that law school was not easy. I was told by some of my friends, I need to give up. I cannot even complete the law school. They said, it's not meant for me. You can't even speak. I stuttered heavily. There was a fear of public speaking. I got on stage and I couldn't say something. Forget about stage, I got up to a small podium, I couldn't speak. I don't know if it ever happened to you that people laughed at you. Let me tell you one thing, my friends. I'm glad if it didn't happen to you because it's very humiliating. It hits you deep. It's more powerful than a physical force. I was blessed as well when I went to law school. In the fourth year, Mr. P.P. Rao, unfortunately is not with India right now, invited me to work with him, one of the best constitutional lawyers our country has proudly produced. I worked with Mr. Rao sir, and he'll take me from his house in Noida all the way to Indian Supreme Court. I'll go with him in his car, and somehow I had the wisdom with my stuttered English to ask Mr. P.P. Rao sir, sir, not how you became successful, but sir, can you please share with me any struggles you had while on your journey to success and how you overcame that struggle? Mr. Singh, it's a simple answer, sir. I had several issues. I overcame them with one word, hard work. I outpaced all my colleagues by working longer. Hence the reason why you see me in my home chambers till 10 p.m. and you're with me in my car at 7 a.m. You see, my blessings didn't stop there, friends. Next year, I got invited by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice R.C. Lohati, to work with him, to clerk with him at the Indian Supreme Court. And you imagine, I'm going to ask the same question to Lohati sir as well. And I'm intentionally not sharing what struggles they shared with me to respect them both. But here comes Lohati sir's advice to me. He said, calm behavior is very important. But then he gave me a concrete advice. He said, you are a hardworking man, something I learned a year ago. You're doing good, but I want you to improve further. I said, sir, please give me the advice. How can I be the best in the field? The passion for arbitration, mediation. I want to go out and do these big cases and bring home proud. He said, you can. You have to get out. I said, sir? He said, get out of your culture. Challenge yourself. Challenge myself, get out of my culture. He said, find a land that is very distinct from where you are. You will find yourself. And like a good Indian son, I followed advice in very next 6 months with my disability. America didn't change it in a second. But listen to this, what happened next. In my first arbitration class by Professor Robert Bailey, and in the case presentation, I raised my hand and I said, sir, I would like to present. You spoke with vigor. You were very, I remember his words, animated. I want you to speak again and do another presentation. And by the way, do you know, in my decade plus teaching experience, you're the first international student who did a case study. You know, friends, what that happened? What did that to me? That built me up, one step at a time. Next stop came in Minnesota. Professor Jim Coben, who still teaches there as well, brought me in, and within my first month of fellowship, he says, Mr. Singh, would you like to teach a class? Thank you, Mr. Coben. I don't know, Sukhsimran, anybody better than you who can do it. Build me up one more step. Or should I thank Professor Richard Burke in Oregon, who despite being my boss for 8 years, worked with me like a friend. And friends, slowly I overcame stuttering, one day at a time, to a point where, unfortunately for all my colleagues and mentors in India and abroad, now I came to a point where it's very difficult to shut me up. Or should I thank Pepperdine Law, the Church of Christ University, forgive me, who not only brought me into Pepperdine to be with Strauss Institute for Dispute Resolution, #1 ranked institute in the world right now in the field, but made me the managing director of the institute within the first year. Who should I thank more? Or should I thank my parents, who stood with me when I couldn't speak a word, who looked at me but not down at me, and who stood with me today, who stand with me today when I'm going around the world and teaching other people how to talk on stage. Lottery by birth. Or should I thank my luck that I was born in this privileged, amazing nation called India, where pluralistic thought taught me a lot, where my upbringing in humility and working with people like P.P. Rao sir, Rasi Lohati sir, who should I thank more? I ask myself. Allow me to share now a few stories from what I have learned in the field of mediation and in the field of cross-cultural dispute resolution negotiation, and combine them both. First, mediation. I got my first big break doing a case in Seattle. Let's call it a business-to-business dispute. See, confidentiality laws are very strong in America. I can't share too many details, but I'll share this much. In this case, I came prepared. I adopted whatever I was told. Hard work, challenge yourself, everything I've learned. I'm a good speaker now. I've got the confidence, American confidence. I can do this. And I failed for 3 hours. Mediator's job, my friends, is to listen to 2 parties or more parties, to be impartial, to not have the biases, to be good at heart and mind. So I was sitting there adapting all that I've learned in the field for the last 10, 12 years, and I failed after 3rd hour, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. These people are still fighting. Till something occurred to me. I moved my chair back by a feet, and I stopped speaking. One gentleman walked up, and he said, Mr. Singh, very good job. He shook hands with me. I just wanted to see what this field is like. In fact, before I came to mediation, I had decided that I'm going to settle today. But I just wanted to figure out what a mediation is. Or should I give example of my second case? This was church dispute, is what I use the word church. It could be a temple, a mosque. I'm going to use the word church. A church dispute in Oregon with 350 parties. I came in with all the confidence I've gained so far, a difficult conflict. Other mediators have said, no, we cannot resolve it. I said, I'm going to do it. I walked in. Everything is going great for 6 weeks. 7th week, a gentleman, let's call him elderly gentleman, 76, 80 years old, come up to me, and he says, Mr. Singh, please don't give up on us. And I look back inside and I ask myself, why did this gentleman say that to me? And I realized a new lesson in mediation in the field of conflict resolution. And the lesson is this, my friends. It is hope and attitude has to be inside. You can never lose hope in this field. There is so much conflict out there. You want to be a good mediator? You go in there and you say, I'm going to do it. The moment you lose hope, your body lose hope, your facial expression lose hope, other people can figure it out, the energy will not be good. That day I learned the lesson. The third lesson I learned is from a case that I recently did. You can imagine mostly, if I may use the word, Americans. They didn't care. I looked like this. They didn't care where I was born. I had to connect with them and resolve their conflict. And here is what I walked away from that conflict. I had a strategy which I was married to. Walked in, I failed first day. Second day, that was a little more progress. Third day, I spent a whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday, in my house, thinking. I had these big posters, writing like a new theory, writing, rewriting. What do I need to do differently? Questions, who am I and how can I lead this crowd? And you know what I came out with? I need to be more flexible, more adaptable. I need to re-strategize this whole mediation. Folks, I walked in, I gave them the full power, and I asked them, how do you want me to mediate? Something I've never asked parties before. They helped me. I resolved 5 out of 6 issues. We are moving forward. Or should I talk about culture? See, culture is so complex, it's beautiful. Let's use the generic terms. Faith, let's start with something small, family, right? My parents, me, I'm a family. It goes bigger than that. You know what it goes to? It becomes your group, your school friends, your family members, general group. Then it goes bigger. Religion comes into being. I am a Hindu, I'm a Sikh, I'm a Christian, I'm a Jew. Then it goes bigger. Nationality comes in. I'm Indian, I'm an American. Then it goes bigger, and language comes into being, and regions, Asian. Where are we going to stop? Ask yourselves how many groups you belong to, and are you proud of them? And how many of these groups you are belong to by birth? How many of these groups you belong to by choice? What I've learned in my humble background is this, my friends. Americans are great. Indians are great. Anybody tells you Indians are, and this, you need to stand up and say, that's wrong. And if you start saying Americans, based on 1 or 2 events on the media, are like this, you need to tell your friend, no. You cannot generalize, stereotype 1 billion plus people with a broad brush. Our Sanskriti teaches us that. The neuroscience of America teaches us that. You can only connect with people through empathy, and empathy starts by not a judgment, by connecting with them heart to heart, by respecting people. So, what have I learned from India? I've learned to be humble, to respect our parents, to belong to those roots, to keep my identity and have pride in it. If Bhagat Singh died fighting for India, we never asked his age. Then why are we questioning the age of our law graduates when they are looking for a good position? What I love about this practice, combining culture and ADR, dispute resolution, it brings peace to me, and I can spread peace, and it gives me a chance to speak. What I also like about it is generic lessons. Lessons like A, people love to divide you for politics, for other reasons. Don't listen to them. Listen to people who unite you. It's much more difficult to unite us. It's much easier to divide us based on all kinds of boundaries. 2, I learned people around the world will connect with you. They will be with you if you give them 3 simple things. 1, you give them respect, regardless of the language, ethnicity, anything. America gave me that. Number 2, you give them your attention, your undivided attention, your presence. 3, you know what you can do? You value people, value their time, value their identity by listening to them, by being good to them. And that's my upbringing in this nation. But I'll go on to say a couple of more things. One thing I've learned, my friends, you can never persuade people. See, in my field, you can only negotiate, mediate by persuasion. Persuasion is convincing someone to your ideology thinking. I can only do it, I've learned, if I build trust with them. And to build trust, here is the secret I'll give you. Meet with them as to where they are. Lower yourself if you have to. Raise yourself if you need to. Change the direction if you need to. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. I'm here standing today because 2 of our friends in this room, starting with Ayush, invited me beautifully after my Gyan speaking series last year. It was an amazing invitation because they both came to me, Sai and Ayush, in my room, and they said, "Sir, would you please think of coming?" I said, "It's a long flight. I'm getting busy with my new job. I will." But the way they asked, I couldn't say no, and I'm so proud. I said yes. It's amazing to be back here. Allow me to end by sharing my last story, my friends. question was, who am I? How can I lead? Perhaps the answer is being given to us, given to me by none other than my father, who recently joined. His name is Dr. Daljit Singh, who recently joined as a vice chancellor of a university here in Punjab. You see, he's privileged. He came back and he became a vice chancellor, even though I know his health is still, he needs to focus on. Perhaps he's answering me indirectly a question, and the question is, who am I and how can I lead? Thank you so much for your time.